God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. Sometimes He has set me free. I feel so good. God has smiled on me. Oh yeah. He's been good to me. One more time. God has smiled on me. Every day of my life, I feel it. You give me strength and energy. God help me to sing. He's been good to me. Oh yeah.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton of Brooklyn, New York. I've been traveling around the country talking to the radio announcers, the church people, and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body, if He woke you up this morning and started you on your way. And I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King saying,
God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me.
then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepped into the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us.
Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God has smiled on me. One more time. I want to say it real slow. I'll say God has smiled on me. He has set It's been a long time coming, but I know
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
I have a dream today.
But they can't kill the dreamer.
it's been a long.
To me, killing innocent people.
Keeping it real. It's XL Friday with the world's civil rights leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
We ready? Dallas. It's Friday, November 7th. Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. Good morning to our West Coast listeners. Welcome to those listening on Sirius XM. Channel 126, The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. And for you that are frequent listeners to this show, you know Fridays are Exhale Friday. That's where we let out whatever is on our minds, whatever is on our
minds, whatever's in our hearts. We let it out, let it out, let it out. I don't want you to go in the weekend talking about that. And there's so much to let out. I mean, this has been a week, and we've seen the election where it was a huge win for the Democrats. Mandani in New York, Spanberger in Virginia, Sherrill in New Jersey, Proposition 51 in California. We had judges and DA races win in Pennsylvania. Across the board, it was a wipeout. Now the question is what they're going to do with it. Had a great celebration, deserved to have a celebration. Now it's get to work time and hold them accountable. We didn't elect them to have a party. We elected them to change things. So we're going to talk about that, what should be the next steps after the election victories. And I think also we this week are seeing Trump really caught off guard when you look at the fact that the courts yesterday, a federal judge said that they should pay all of the SNAP money, and the Trump administration is going to court saying we should not be made to pay it. Now they're trying to appeal that. I mean, these are people coming straight out saying, no, don't feed the hungry. Don't take care of people that need supplemental nutritional assistance program. That's what SNAP stands for. Don't do that. We want to keep that on the table to make the Democrats buckle and sign us to go ahead and put the government back on. And then that's the other issue. We have government shutdown. And there's been, I was on Morning Joe the last hour this morning, and I'm sure I'm doing Nicole Wallace this afternoon. They're going to bring it up again. Why won't the Democrats buckle? We'll do the premiums later, because they won't do them later. Do you know that they have gone up with some people's insurance premium 200%? And if you don't hold a line here and vote this budget right, they are going to play games again. So between the government shutdown, between SNAP cancel, between the election all over the country, you have a lot to exhale about. I'm going to give you all the time in the world to do it. I think you need to exhale. I also think that we need to look at the fact that I keep reiterating this. Donald Trump is canceling SNAP food assistance for the underprivileged and appealing it to a judge. At the same time, they will not pass to deal with the Affordable Care Act as is, which has closed down the government. Federal employees are going to food banks to get food. And at the same time now, federal workers not getting paid. SNAP beneficiaries not getting their SNAP. He's going to have a Gatsby-themed party. Great Gatsby, for you that don't know, a book written years ago about the rich, how they lived, the rich, and one of them was Gatsby, who was a fraud. He's throwing a Gatsby-style party at Mar-a-Lago while they knock down the wing of the White House to build a $300 million ballroom. At the exact time, he's cutting poor people off SNAP. At the exact time, federal employees can't get paid. So let's talk about all that. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Or you can go on the message board at live stream at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Mayor Rodney Jones is on the message board saying, imagine if Republicans would have won these seats, we wouldn't hear the last of it. Trump would have taken credit for all of it. Yeah, but he's not taking the blame for all of it. He's saying if my name was on the ballot, it'd come out. Tanya Stovall is saying, I heard after the election in New York, many businesses are leaving New York to move to Florida. That's what they're saying, but I was on, as I said, Morning Joe this morning, with an expert that has checked it, and most of them are saying, no, we ain't going nowhere. We're going to see if we can work with this guy. We'll see how long that lasts. James Thomas is saying on our message board, you can tell that he doesn't care about health care, and that picture in the White House of a man falling on the floor proves he doesn't care. That's a 30-second ad. James, you good. You right. They had a press conference yesterday for you that didn't see it. And James and I couldn't make this up. They're having it about weight reduction. And while Dr. Oz, who's a member of the cabinet, is talking about weight reduction, Trump is sitting there in the chair next to him. He's standing at the rostrum. Trump is in the chair next to him. Several men behind him. Man faints, passes out. Everybody runs to help the man but Trump. Trump's looked down at him. Then a few minutes later, when they're talking, Trump literally goes to sleep. Literally. They showed it on camera. He dozed off. Can you imagine if they had a tape of Joe Biden dozing off in public? I ain't talking about, sitting in a plane and you nod off. In the middle of a press conference, he called. He went to sleep while one of the others was speaking. And that happens. But imagine what they'd have done to Joe Biden. Well, let's start lining up your calls. It's Exhale Friday. You got a lot to let out before we go into the weekend. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Or go to live stream at nationalactionnetwork.net and give me a message on your message board. And Tanya's saying the volume is low. Turn it up. Turn the volume up. All right, Tanya. I got you. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. Keeping it real.
Breaking news.
Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there. And act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special place in my heart and on my shelf because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president, but we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're gonna have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago, here in Los Angeles, we marched. And then many years later, with George Floyd and others, we're still marching. And I'm going to keep marching. I'm going to keep agitating. And I'm going to keep going. Until we don't have to do it anymore. Eddie, known you a long time. Mariah, christen your kids. And I promise you this, the only thing that I really live for is I get up with this dream that every bigot, every racist, everyone in this country that hates will say, damn, he's up again.
It's been a long time coming, but I know
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of Nash Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
I have a dream today.
When they came for the dream.
So it's become almost an unhealthy habit how much I'm listening to Keep It Real, because it is the realest thing on the air anywhere, whether it be online or whether it be on the radio or wherever it's coming into you from, because there's no one of Rev's importance and caliber who is as dominant a media figure as he is, who allows people to speak at length, and who he treats with equal respect and admiration with every call, whether he agrees with you or not. And I'm not gonna throw shade at anybody, but there are a lot of people with big platforms like the Rev has who are afraid to talk to the people and who are afraid that the people will keep it real with them. And he never shies away from anything any of us want to talk to him about. And he doesn't shut you up. It's not a soundbite, it's a conversation. So I would like people in media to learn from this man who is carrying MLK's torch. Don't be afraid of people. Listen to them, respect them, and stand in God and stand in truth. Thank you, Nan. Thank you, Rev. Thank you, everybody who puts this together and sends it out across the world, because we need much more of it. Bless you.
Hey, what's up? They got, they're doing, thank you. They're doing, What's on Your Mind? Yeah. All right, then, we got a birthday this week. I gotta talk about that.
Oh, no.
Happy birthday this weekend. And Carrie White's birthday, right?
Corey's birthday's today.
Yeah, and I gotta tell Reverend Birthday reading Daniel 5th chapter. I want him to read. And I'm ready. Got a message from today, so we'll be on the air in what? Half hour.
About a half hour.
You should tune in to the
WBLS 107.5 FM and National Impact, and www.nationalnetwork.net. All right, I'm ready. Make sure you operate on time, or I'll tell them I owe y'all. No just stand still. No just stand still. No just stand still. What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom, let my people go, go. We gonna shine at the shade. Give me a papa God rain, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water too.
Oh, do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited, and you should be excited to turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you, and if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9, and we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized.
We have a short visit today, so we just wanted to greet you all and thank you for allowing us in. Yes, sir. We was here.
They were on the plantation.
Our family was on the plantation. Wow. And that's, of course, that's the slave house. That's one of the slave houses.
I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. It's Exhale Friday. Let me say that one of the things that is most concerning to me, we talked about a little on Morning Joe this morning, is the workers, federal workers, and then how it is hurting laborers all over this country. And the air traffic controllers down. I had one staff member sat in Washington Airport 5 hours before a plane could take off because of this. So this is really serious. And I don't know anyone more serious on the front lines than the president of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, a member of the National Board of National Action Network. Brother Lee Saunders is on our live line. Lee, how you doing this afternoon?
We're hanging in there, Al. How are you?
I'm doing well. Give me the state of where we are from your perspective. You're one of the major labor leaders in the country. From a perspective of what it's doing to labor and the economy and of course, the workers, and also what you're hearing on Capitol Hill, is there any movement to try to break the shutdown up?
Well, what's happening is devastating to workers, to our communities across the country. When you're talking about healthcare costs skyrocketing, people can't afford them now, and they're going to skyrocket at a higher level. You look at the SNAP program that's going to be cut, and people, and you can see it on TV. I mean, you feel it in the major cities across the country and rural areas across the country. Folks don't have the food to eat. They're going to the pantries, and the pantries are running out of food. This is a direct result of the policies that are being implemented by this administration to hurt working families, to hurt union members, to hurt our communities across the country for their own very selfish agenda to give more money to billionaires and not support working families.
One of the things that the Democrats have said and so far have held, they're not going to back up off of making sure we keep the premiums correct on the Affordable Care Act. And now the Republicans are equivocating back and forth. Speaker Mike Johnson won't even call the House in. Have you heard anything in Washington to indicate any movement?
Well, there are discussions that are taking place, but I've got to say this. I don't believe that the discussions are real right now. I'm not on the inside, but we've got to deal with this, and we've got to deal with this immediately. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what's going on here. And people are really being hurt. I mean, you see the lines of folks standing out for food.
Right.
You see the concerns about health care. You see that this is not only a federal issue. You know, people aren't getting paid. Federal workers aren't getting paid. We represent some federal employees, and we've been fighting for them and taking this administration to court. We've been winning, but then it's challenged or it goes to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court rules against us. But it also impacts on state and local workers, public service workers, especially if they're working in the healthcare area or working in an area where it involves food stamps and things of that nature. They're being hurt as well because these funds are not moving into the local communities where they are serving people. Those funds help people. They help families every single day. And we cannot give that up. We've got to continue to fight for that. And that's what we're going to do. I would be hopeful, and I know that there are a number of different kinds of options that people are talking about, but I don't see any real movement right now. And we've just got to keep the fire on and make our voices heard and to fight back like never before.
Now, give me your review of what you felt the Tuesday night elections meant and did not mean. Should we get hope or should we have hope, I should say, when we see Democrats win in New York, in Virginia, in New Jersey, and Prop 50 pass in California? So it seems like a lot of momentum from the No Kings marches everywhere, from the Wall Street March. People are energized. How do you read it?
People are energized, and I think that those election results Tuesday showed that. But you know what? We just cannot rely upon that. That was one day in time when we had a victory. We've got to keep this momentum up and grow the momentum across the country so people understand that this fight is not over. We've got to carry this into the 2026 elections, but we've also got to continue to fight now and fight for what we believe in and the fact that this country has a responsibility to support its citizens and to support working people all across this country. And we cannot forget that. And just because we had a major victory on Tuesday night, we can't sit down and say, okay, we've done our due. We've got to continue to fight, man, and we've got to continue to make our voices heard every single day. If we don't do that, then that victory last Tuesday will not mean that much at all. We've got to continue to fight. We've got to continue to organize. We've got to continue to mobilize.
You are the head of one of the largest unions in the country, and your members make up the municipal and state federal employees. And these are the employees that shutdowns directly affect, certainly the federal workers, but the state and city workers have to deal in the gap of all of that. And yet it seems that everyone is standing strong and tall and in unity. What are you hearing from labor leaders that are your peers?
I think we're fighting, and you have a number of unions that have a direct impact on these cuts with the larger federal employees. You're right. We have 1.4 million members, AFSCME, and we have federal service workers. We have mostly state, local, nonprofit workers. But this has an impact on them too. The closing of government has an impact on them, and that's why we're fighting so hard to continue to have health care, to continue to move the SNAP program, because if you don't, the revenues associated with those programs trickle down to the state and local level. And if, in fact, states and local governments are not getting that money from the federal government, then local workers, our members at the state and local level, will be laid off as well. And as a matter of fact, you have a number of states across the country now that are putting their budgets together, and it's showing massive layoffs in the public services in state and local government. That's going to have a direct impact on the provision of services to our citizens across the country. This is huge, what's going on, and it has so many kinds of implications that will hurt the members, our members, will hurt our communities. It will hurt the things that you and I have been fighting for so many, many years. And we cannot be silent. We cannot give up. We can negotiate, but we've got to have a framework as far as understanding what we can do to continue those vital services that our communities depend upon across the country.
All right, Lee Saunders, the one and only Lee Saunders, president of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, and I'm proud to say a member of the National Board, active member of that, of National Board of National Action Network. Thank you for being with us and giving us this briefing, Lee.
Thanks for having me, Al.
All right, let's get ready to go to the phones. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. Let you exhale. But let me say this, and I agree with Mr. Saunders wholeheartedly. It's fighting time. You don't get in the ring and start a fight, get ahead on the scorecard, and then quit the fight and say, all right, let's compromise and see if we can have a compromised end to the fight. No, we need a victory. And I hope these people have enough backbone and stamina to hang in there, because they put the Republicans on the ropes this week. Those were real elections, real hard-fought elections. We didn't win them for nothing. And I've been telling everybody that I've talked to on Capitol Hill and talking on every show, every microphone I can get, stand up, don't blink. Their only hope is, since they got beat in the polls, is that you beat yourself by turning a winner into a wimp. And that's where they're trying to go. Let's take a break and come right back and go to the phones. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. Keeping it real. He said, all right.
Who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you are born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me, and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
and I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are, and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that called me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
Tony Wafer, Los Angeles chapter, National Action Network. He just came in here to New York a couple days ago, had to stop by the House of Justice, and I sure enough found some justice. So I know I can leave here feeling like I got peace.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this dirty?
All right, we ready.
All right, you live.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host. Keeping it real. Reverend Al Sharpton. And we're back 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Or you can go on our message board at live stream at National Action Network .net. And I see Beverly Jackson's on saying on the message board, Reverend Sandy Ray and Reverend William Augustus Jones were two powerful preachers in Brooklyn, New York. Well, you, Beverly, know what you're talking about. I grew up and Bishop F.D. Washington, who lived across the street from Sandy Ray, and Reverend Jones lived down the block. They were the ones I was boy preacher under, and then when I got older, Reverend Jones rebaptized me. I was baptized at 3 years old, Church of God in Christ, rebaptized later as a Baptist by Jones. And that's the kind of stock I came out of, I was raised by. So you know what you're talking about. You caught my eye when you came back with that. You know what you're talking about. You got to know black church history to know Sandy Ray. Let me say by way of announcements, don't forget Saturday and Sunday, that's tomorrow and Sunday, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton, live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time on MSNBC. Tomorrow I'm going to have on the head of the Democratic Committee, Congressional Committee. I want to know what are the Democratic Congress people going to do about this shutout. Are they going to hold? Are they going to fold? What are they doing to fight against what Mike Johnson is doing? So I'm going to have the chair of the DCCC on. I'm also going to have the chair of the Democratic Legislative Campaign. I also want to know what the Secretaries of State are going to do. I'm going to have on some Secretaries of State and two black women. I got a loaded show tomorrow. Two black women that won for mayor. A lot of people talk about the big states. I had these two black women on that were running, one in Syracuse, New York, the other in Albany, New York. I had them on about 2 months ago. Both of them won. And I'm going to have them on tomorrow night. They've gone from candidate for mayor to mayor. Both of them the first black mayors in their city. Sharon Owens and Darcy Appers will be on with me on Politics Nation. That's tomorrow night. Then on Sunday night, I'm going to California to talk to a couple of the members of Congress and how we redrawing the map since they won Proposition 50. And I want to also talk to members of the Senate. So it's going to be two loaded shows you don't want to miss. Both nights, Saturday and Sunday evening, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. It does not look like the shutdown is going to end, so that's why I'm having these people on talking about what we need to do and what is going to be happening because they're not even bringing the House back over the weekend to vote. So we got to fight. We got to dig in. Also, you that are in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally at the House of Justice in Harlem. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., we'll be there bright, what is the old expression, bright-eyed and bushy tail. Meet me at the House of Justice. I got some things we need to really deal with after the victory. After some victories, we have won a round. We have not won the fight. Make sure you're in the House. You that are not in the New York area, You can watch it live on Impact Television, and of course at www.nationalactionnetwork.net on live stream. All right, let's go straight to the phones now. Let people exhale. People calling from everywhere. Let me let some exhale out. Let's start with Theron in Detroit, Michigan. Theron.
Hey, peace be unto you, Brother Reverend Sharpton. Just listening in to you a little earlier, you're talking about the SNAP programs. You know, you look at this person who caused this problem. He caused this hunger and suffering, job losses, and getting rid of the SNAP programs. This is the way of a devil. This is the way of ruling you under the authority of hunger and suffering. This is what he does, and this is how he wants to conquer the people, to force them to bow down to him. This is an unrighteous thinking person. He's not alone. The Republican Party is doing this. And I like how it's funny how they come on the television and say this is a Democratic shutdown. The Republicans control the House. They control all three houses. The president has the ability to make sure that the people wouldn't suffer under hunger. Why there was a shutdown, he chose not to do that. That's his choice. It's because he wants to control the people that way. But Scripture teaches us, the psalmist says, if I was hungry, I would not tell you. God says, my righteous servants will eat, but you will go hungry. So we have to understand Scripture and go back into it, because it's talking to us every day, and it's living out with these people that's in front of us causing all these problems. He caused this problem. It wasn't a problem until he came into office.
No, that's right.
So this is an unrighteous person.
That's right. That's
So
right.
I just want to get that out today, brother.
I appreciate
you
your call. I appreciate how you frame what you say and get right to the point, but say it eloquently. Always good to hear from Theron. Let me go to the message board. Mayor Rodney Jones, the mayor of Queensbridge Houses, said, I watched the video of you, Rev, Mayor-elect Mandani, Spike Lee, and Miss Jones Austin, Bishop Taylor, and other religious leaders. Bishop Taylor said he has a PhD in public housing degree. I like that. Mr. Mayor giving me the 411. I'm looking for him in the rally. He rarely misses a rally. I come out on the stage and look toward the first 2 or 3 rows for the mayor, see if he's there. Tanya Stovall is saying on the message board, no money, no SNAP is why the shopping carts are no full. Yeah, you are exactly right about that. Let's go to Julian in Michigan. Julian, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton. Exhale Friday.
Hey, what's going on, Rev?
Everything's good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So first of all, I want to give you a big shout out. You know, that the election victory that we have is greatly in part to the work that you're putting on the ground and inspiring me constantly. As you know, I was at the National Action Network, if you remember, a couple weeks ago with one of the lawyers I work with named Shiraz, and we just want to see if there's any way that we can keep helping and support that mission and keep doing some good work with you. Because as you say, you can't be an activist without staying active.
Tell me what the work we talking about.
So, for example, right now in Michigan...
Just refresh my memory. If you talked to me a couple of weeks ago, again, I don't know your name off, so if you tell me the issue, I'll remember the issue.
100%. So this is Julian Hemmings. I was at Nan Tuttle when I was young.
Oh, okay, yeah. We on the same page. Okay, go ahead. Yes, absolutely, I'm committed to it. Yeah, now I know what I'm talking about.
100%. So I just wanted to see, further connections in the future. Just wanted to give you a quick shout out.
And I was thrilled to see you a couple of weeks ago. I'm glad you came with the attorney. No, you Nan permanent. Don't even worry about it. You ain't got to question it. All you got to do is holler. I'm with you. I know you. All right. Thank you for your call.
Thank you, Rev.
Thank you for the work you do. Let me go to Wale in Manhattan. Wale in Manhattan. You're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
You got it on the end. How you doing, Rev?
I figure I correct myself. I correct myself for you correct me.
Rev.
Right.
Yeah, you my man, Rev. And if you would give me a little bit of time, I have to say what I'm getting ready to say. The New York City Housing Authority, the largest public housing authority in North America, was created in 1935 to provide decent, affordable housing for low and moderate income New Yorkers. Now, NYCHA is like it's a what they call that? Capital. I don't want to waste my time trying to figure out. But anyway, nobody can come in NYCHA and tell NYCHA what to do. It's a corporation. It's independent, et cetera, et cetera. And I don't know when the tenant associations were formed, somewhere in the 70s, and it gave tenants the right to be independent and democratic, to elect who they want to be their presidents, vice presidents, sergeant at arms, etc. So if the authority can't come up here and tell tenants what to do. Now, why am I saying that? You just had a shooting at Capitol Hill houses where a guy shot 3 people, a 75-year-old woman, I believe was his mother, his sister, and her boyfriend, then he killed himself. Now, I went to the building. I wanted to see what the building looked like. It's around an airport where you see the planes fly real, real low. It's in Castle Hill. You should see the type of dogs that were coming out that building. Pit bulls that were growling, other types of dogs, ferocious. Even the cop that was in the building stepped back and all this kind of thing because he can't do anything. The cop can't do anything. He can't tell them, you got to get rid of that dog. It's the residents that have to do that. Now, why am I bringing all of this up, if you will let me expound a little bit? I'm a black person, and when I look at the condition of us, how we have let these people reduce us to the lowest denominator, how we, even like where I live, the project I live in, they giving all this food away every week. But their job is, as a tenant association, to have monthly meetings, minutes. They're supposed to be telling the tenants, because the TAs, the tenant associations, get first-hand information from the authority on everything. It's the power of the residents. I was a TA president. That's how I know. But when you're a person like me, they don't like you. Because what I think is happening is the criminals are giving all this food away because they don't want, and they're in with the management. Management is supposed to meet at those meetings every month to tell us, well, why are they stripping asbestos out of an apartment? Well, because this one got mold in there. That's the purpose of having it. All these decades, these developments have gone down to the garbage can because when management was running stuff, their management would fine you if you didn't clean your house, if you walked on the grass and all this kind of thing here. Then crack came. That changed a lot of the program. So I know I can't ask to be held over, but if you could hold me over.
All right, I'm running up on a commercial. Let me take a break. I'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Exhale Friday. Be right back.
Thank you so much. I was thinking I was going to prepare a speech, but I can't read those things anymore. Name's Babyface, not Baby Body. But I wanted to, you made me sound so good with those words. I was like, that was me? I was like, when I look at my life and I think of the music and everything that I've done, I used to say that I don't know where it came from. I don't know where the words come from. I don't know where the music comes from. I don't know how I got here where I am, but that's not true. God got me here. This is and it becomes more clear to me every day that's why I'm here. And I don't even know how I ended up standing here, except for the fact that I ran into Al at the Essence. He was walking in the room, and I said, I got to go say hello. And he said, I want to honor you. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah, I want to honor you. I said, really? Yep. And here I am standing here, and I can only thank you. I always want to do this, Michael. I love you too. Sorry. But I think of moments like this, I can't help but just think of how proud my mom would be for me standing here. I have to say that just to be standing here and to be invited by Al Sharpton, and I want you guys to really think about this man who invited me here and how he has been fighting the fight for us all of these years. I don't think we give him enough credit. I don't think we give him enough love. Sometimes you just get used to people and you think, well, that's just Al. No. He's more than that. I want y'all to give him really love. Come on, let's give him. It's very true. Because I can remember times, I'm 67 years old, I can remember times in Indianapolis, Indiana. Yeah, it's true, I'm 67. And I can remember times in Indianapolis when I was growing up, and there were places before I was 5 years old that I could not go to because I was black. And I remember how civil rights, how that changed everything for me and for my life, and that I'm standing here today because of all of those changes, and I was able to do the kind of music that I do and do everything because of those things happened. And so for me to accept an award like this, because I've never gotten an award like this before, and so I really appreciate it, and I'm just so thankful, and I thank my mom for giving me the sense to always be humble with my life and to never think that it's all about me. And so like I said, I didn't prepare a speech. I always just wanted to speak from my heart. And I'm speaking from my heart, and I want to tell you once again, Al Sharpton, you are a blessing to us all, and I thank you for inviting me for this, and thank you so much. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there and act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special place in my heart and on my shelf because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now black vice president, but we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're going to have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago, here in Los Angeles, we marched. And then many years later, with George Floyd and others, we're still marching. And I'm going to keep marching. I'm going to keep agitating. And I'm going to keep going. Until we don't have to do it anymore. Eddie, known you a long time, Mariah, Chris, and your kids. And I promise you this, the only thing that I really live for is I get up with this dream that every bigot, every racist, everyone in this country that hates will say, damn, he's up again.
It's been a long time coming, but I know
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of Nash Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
because I have a dream today.
When they can't kill the dreamer.
So it's become almost an unhealthy habit how much I'm listening to Keep It Real, because it is the realest thing on the air anywhere, whether it be online or whether it be on the radio or wherever it's coming into you from, because there's no one of Rev's importance and caliber who is as dominant a media figure as he is, who allows people to speak at length, and who he treats.
Let's go back to Wale. I'm going to let her finish up. Wale.
Thank you, Rev. Thank you.
Go ahead. Let's wrap it up. I have your
Okay. Our people look horrible, Reverend Sharpton. And the question is, what are we going to do about it? I want to be able, I'm going to stay for the program tomorrow. The Women's Auxiliary is having, if they're tea,
Yeah.
it's $10, and they're going to feed us to death. But I'm going to do like you. I'm going to eat. I'm going to know my limit. But we're going to have to do some deep, because we have no security. They sell drugs in the lobby. I'm going to say this and I'm going to shut up. I come in my building yesterday. The woman is half naked standing there waiting to cop some drugs.
Wow.
We are sitting back, allowing our children to grow up in these housing complexes, and the police is working with the criminals. They're all working together. That's why nothing gets done.
Right.
We of sound mind and like-minded folk, because because this is the only places we have to live. I don't have a house now, Sharpton, where I can move to. We're going to have to figure we cannot continue like this. Our people look too bad. We've come from too far. So there's got to, we cannot continue like this. And management, there is no one. They have a legal department. They don't do a squat. So there was a case that someone tried to bring against me. I ran into a lawyer. She says, "Wait a minute, you didn't? They didn't notify me. There's so much corruption. It's almost like a syndicate. NYCHA is operated like a syndicate, and so forth. And they didn't know. That's why nobody can come in there and change nothing. The tenants have to be the ones to do it. And there's so many things. All tenants need to do. Just go online, look up New York City Housing Authority, read. There's so many. We could have been owning our apartments by now. There's a thing in there that says we could have been owning it. There's TPA funds that we use to go to conferences to meet with other TAs. There's so much. These people giving away.
Yeah, we need to really dig down in that. I'm glad you raised it. All right, Wale, I'm going to look for you tomorrow. Thank you for your call. James in Atlanta. James, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton. James?
Yes, Reverend Sharpton. I'd like to, something has been bugging me here recently, and I have a question for you on my second point, second subject. Now we've had two major explosions within the last 30 days. We've just had this UPS explosion that happened on the day of the election, and then October 10th, we had the explosion in Tennessee, in which a manufacturing facility that manufacture explosives such as TNT, various types of explosives for our military. It exploded and killed 16 people and injured another 5 or 6 others. These are major explosions. I wonder if we still have the expertise to investigate these explosions, because with various people that have been fired or forced into early retirement, and various units that's been disbanded, I wonder will we get the truth on these incidents.
It's a very good question. I mean, I do not know the answer, but I think that we definitely need to investigate these explosions. And I think the frequency that they're beginning to happen requires us not to just act like these things happen, particularly when they have not happened with this frequency before. So, no, I think you're right. Thank you for your call. Let me
hello.
Yeah.
I have a question for you on this subject here. In the international news, I've heard the other day that in talking about the U.S. economy, that our economy is now the debt is now over $38 trillion. And it was reported the other day that we're on track by 2035, in which our debt will reach 143% of our GDP by 2035. So I'm wondering, in your circles, when you talk with politicians in the last few years or so, has that conversation come up? Has any politicians given you, any conversation regarding that, or reasons, or
well, they've not given
the
figures you just gave, because these are the latest figures. There have been concern over the national debt, and when you can have nations like China pull in some of their debt, it could be catastrophic. I've had members of the Senate and the Congress say this, and I've asked the question, James, why aren't y'all talking about this publicly? And I think that Donald Trump has raised that debt even higher. In these 8 months he's been in, the debt has gone higher, and they're acting like there's just an unending debt. If 3 or 4 of these people that's holding out debt called in the U.S. debt, it would bankrupt the United States overnight.
Wait. And didn't he say that he's already pulled in $17 trillion from the tariffs or something?
Yeah, he did.
Why has that not been applied to the debt?
If he pulled, first of all, because I believe it's a lie, if he had pulled in $17 trillion, where is it? It's not showed up against the debt, and it's not showed up that it has given revenue to the national, to where we deposit national U.S. Treasury. So where is it? It's a lie, or it is in some process that only he knows. I don't believe he's done. $17 trillion in 8 months is ridiculous. But I got to go. Thank you for your call. Let me go. Let me go to Disco Brian in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, WURD. Disco Brian.
Rev, I'm so excited. I'm so excited on this XL Friday about Politics Nation tomorrow night. I am so delighted that you'll be having some mayor-elects that nobody in media has had the bandwidth to pay any attention to since they've only been covering the biggest metropoles. Can you tell me who those beautiful black mayor-elects will be again?
They will be the mayor-elect of Syracuse, New York, Sharon Owens, and Darcy Apliers, who's now the mayor-elect of the capital city of New York State, Albany, New York.
Woo. Beautiful, Rev.
Yeah, I want people to, and
also,
these are people that are not major cities, but we're making major inroads. Both of them black women, and I had them both on my show, and they were running. People say, why you putting them on? Well, they won.
Amen. Or should I say, Rev, women. Anyway, also, it sure would be nice if legacy media could please stop the normalization of Marjorie Taylor Greene. Why can't anyone, Rev, seem to remind her that she is responsible for all this she's breaking her brain about? I mean, what a fraud. Anyway, let's not go there, Rev. For Exhale Friday, I want to send gratitude to my fellow Philly real keeper Lola, who called, and I treasure her moral witness and have heard her criticism of what she regards as my obsession with the mayor-elect of New York. Many real keepers on the message board, Rev, have admonished and advised me to stop being obsessed too. And to all of them, I would just like to ask with deep love and respect why it's okay for the entire network of white leftist podcasters who live much further from New York City than I do, because I'm in Philly, but who flew in Tuesday night for the victory rally from Hassan Piker in L.A. to Jennifer Welch, who lives in Oklahoma, to Naomi Klein, who lives in Canada, to have spent the past 6 to 7 months fawning over the mayor-elect. But it's not okay for me, somebody in Philly, to voice my concerns about issues that he's not yet addressed. In closing, Rev, I have been sitting with something you have said to me many times, that anti-racist, anti-fascist freedom fighters must be careful not to leave one plantation just to walk onto another, and that nobody's going to strong-arm black Democrats into somebody else's revolution, that liberation has to mean self-determination and not substitution. And I just realized something from my own past, Rev, that clicked this into place for me. In college, I just watched an old interview on Bill Moyer, the guy who used to have, I think, a PBS show. He was interviewing a guy named Mahmoud Mamdani, who I now understand is the father of a book I read called Citizen and Subject in college. And here's the issue, Rev. Zoran's dad, his whole framework is that liberal democracy itself is suspect, that coalition, pluralism, and individual rights are Western constructs. And what replaces it is a politics of the oppressed versus the enemy, where whoever claims moral victimhood gets automatic authority. Now, from my understanding of your sermons and everything you've shared with us since I've discovered this sacred program, is that, Rev, is exactly what you've been warning about. A movement that does not build coalitions, does not negotiate, does not share power.
Clearly, that's what I've been talking about. And clearly, what I've said as someone that has spent decades being criticized, I'm not stopping people from criticizing, and I'm not stopping you because you criticize, because I've been where you are, I've been where they are. Everybody got the right to express themselves. The thing I respect is if you can back up what you're saying with facts. As long as we're having debates on facts, I'm all right with it. And I'm only banning people from wasting airtime if they're just shooting off the top of the head and nobody know what they're talking about. But you back it up with facts. I do not believe everything around Zoran and them is wrong, but I don't believe everything around it is right. And we need to hear both sides. And there's nothing worse than a proud racist And that is a proud, phony liberal that really is operating racist. All right, let's take our break.
Amen, Rev.
I'll be right back. Keeping it real. That's what I do. Sharpton, that's my name. Be right back.
Joining James Brown, Muhammad Ali, and myself now from New York City is the Reverend Al Sharpton. And Mr. Brown, James, I'd like to ask you about this young man, how you came to meet him, and what the National Youth Movement, which he represents, is all about. Tell me something about that.
It's about teaching young kids the right way to go, and the things to be involved in education. Don't be a dropout, which is one thing I'm very much behind. Unless kids have guidance, they have no place to go. And the idea is to try to mold them. I mean, we think of anything, we think of it as a baby. And what we molded them to be is what it will be later on. He used to stand at my back door, and he believed in what I said, the Don't Be a Dropout program, and the fact of helping kids and giving them the right idol and the right image to go with, cleaning, grooming, and wanting to work, wanting to be something. I started as a kid, a juvenile delinquent, and everything. Had no model. And I was able to be a model for a young man like this. And what he turned out to be is a minister, and he preaches the right thing, and I'm for him 1,000%. I'm for everything he's about.
Mr. Sharpton, how national right now is the National Youth Movement? Is it something new? Has it been going on for a while? Do you have a stated number of members? Tell me something about it.
Well, we don't really get into a numbers game because that's been a trick that has been played for the last 20 years. What we're basically interested in doing is saying to young people of impoverished backgrounds that there are people like a Muhammad Ali and a James Brown that represents hope to us. Because these people, despite all of the social odds, despite the unemployment statistics, despite the lack of education in their day, were able to grow and be something that we can be proud of. A man like me didn't have a father at home, but I had a James Brown to look up to and would want to sing and dance like him, or Muhammad Ali, who I saw stand up and give away millions of dollars of stamps to the government so that I would have a right to come 10 or 20 years later and try to fight for my kids. So what we're saying is there are symbols and images that kids can look up to and not have to throw a brick through a window, but that can work by the sweat of their brow and succeed, just like these two gentlemen did.
But considering the numbers of young kids today, and Rev, there are hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of kids who really are in hopeless and desperate situations, is it enough to just offer them an example?
You say hopeless, though. Not hopeless.
Well, let's say, well, to them, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids,
it's never hopeless. There's no such thing as hopeless. It's never hopeless. When I got 8 to 16 years for breaking and entering as a kid, because I was hungry, and here I am today, it's not hopeless. Let's don't say hopeless. Then we say we're carving out. I don't believe in hopeless. Don't you think it's hope? If you believe in something, try. No such hopeless. I don't believe in hopeless. We're not going to go with that. And I think he's not about teaching them how to get out and fight for themselves. That's what it's about. No, it's not hopeless. Everybody has a cause and everything, but everybody want to live. And I think living is what we're about. We're not going to teach dying. Hopeless is dying.
I agree with you 100%, James. But what I'm trying to ask here is simply saying you too can be a James Brown or a Muhammad Ali. Is that enough to give a kid who's hungry, who doesn't know where his next meal is coming?
I'll say it.
Give him somewhere to go.
I think it's awful weak to tell a kid you can be a James Brown, one of the greatest entertainers in the world, and me, one of the greatest fighters. And like you said, the hundreds of thousands of millions of kids that need a break. You can't have that many great people, but they can get educated. They can go to school. They can learn. I'd like to say one thing. We have crime today. It's a big problem. I think they took a national vote on what the people want the government to spend most of the money on, and crime was over national defense. Worrying about Russia, China, outside enemies, they're worrying about inside crime. We have crime today, all type prostitution, murder, exploitation, degradation, and wars of all kinds. And I'm going to tell you why everything's happening. And I think if you're intelligent, you agree with it. If we were riding an airplane and the two pilots died for some reason, is there anybody in this room that can go in the cockpit, pick up the radio, start working it, bring the plane in, depressurize it as a land, and make it, and late at night on a stormy day? You couldn't do it.
Right.
Well, but if you learn how to fly, or if they show you how to fly, you can. Since God made the world and God made us, He sent the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, sent Moses, Jesus, Noah, to show us how to run the world. And God left His laws. If we don't follow His laws, then we crash.
Let me say this, though, Mr. Snyder, in response to your question to Mr. Brown, Mr. Ali. Yes, it is enough to begin with showing them an example, because before you get to education, you need motivation. If you don't have motivation to get out of the bed, you won't make school or the party. And what we try to do by showing a James Brown or Muhammad Ali is not that you can be a great champion maybe like Ali or a great entertainer like James Brown, but if you use the same initiative that they did to make him get up 5 in the morning and run 10 miles and just have a dream and to come back 3 times and accomplish that dream, to have more hits than anybody in the world, even when the music world wouldn't give him credit for it in terms of a James Brown. If you had that initiative to keep working at whatever it is that you're going to do, you can succeed. And what we're saying to them is you may not reach the plateau of public prominence of them, but if you can reach the personal discipline and personal motivation of them, you can reach a plateau in your life. Because it's not about looking for a government handout, it's about looking for a way out, as James Brown said.
All right, and then how receptive are the young people that you tell this to?
Very receptive.
Really?
Very receptive. Very receptive. I think that people have misunderstood that most people of impoverished and depressed areas are not looking for the government to give them something. They just want a chance. I remember when I was a little boy, James Brown used to sing, I don't want nobody to give me nothing, just open the door, I'll get it myself. Well, that's all people want now is a chance. Let me get a piece of the action. Let me get a piece of the pie. Let me stand up on my own.
All right. At one
man should have the major corporations, the government, should get behind him and push the programs that he's about.
Except maybe if he does it himself and gets grassroots support, it's better than having the government stick their nose in, because they have a way sometimes.
We're not talking about control.
Yeah.
We're not talking about control. We're talking about a way of start. You know, they have to start. If they fund crisis and fund all these different other things, they can fund a small man to get started. Then the private sector will join in, but let them help too. It should be.
Last thing. Somewhere along the line here tonight, we used a graphic saying long, hot summer. Are you in any way, I'm certain you're not predicting a long, hot summer. You're not predicting urban strife. You're not predicting disorder, anything like that.
Well, what I'm saying is, you know, at home you have an oven. There are flames on top of the oven, and then there's heat in the oven. We always discuss whether there'll be a flame on the top and don't discuss it. There's already 600 degrees inside. I'm not concerned as much about a long, hot summer because it's been a long, hot winter. Yeah. People are unemployed.
Okay.
People are unemployed. People are getting their homes ripped off. Parents' pocketbooks being snatched. As Ali said, crime is at a highest rate it's ever been. So rather than us running around the streets looking for a brick, we should be looking at the fact the brick is already in most people's houses. How do we get the brick out of the house? How do we cool the long oven out? Let's not wait for the explosion and then just cut the flames off upstairs. Let's put the flame out inside. And the only way to do that is everybody to get up and work by the sweat of their brow in America and try to be productive like these two gentlemen have been in their life against all odds. They came up in a world that was alien to them, and they made it. And we can make it if we have the same initiative they did.
Mr. Sharpton, it's been a pleasure to have you here tonight, and I've enjoyed meeting you very much. Thank you for coming by, and thank you, James Brown, for being with us again. Kent, thank you for being here tonight.
Please receive Tony Wayford, Los Angeles chapter, NASDAQ Network. He just came in here to New York a couple days ago, had to stop by the House of Justice, and I sure enough found some justice, so I know I can leave here feeling like I got peace.
And I think that is extremely important about the funding. But I also want to add how they're changing what can be taught. You have states outright saying you can't teach black history and you can't teach certain other histories and the curriculum. You have this administration that is literally taking out exhibits from the Smithsonian. So we have not only an education problem in terms of resources, we have an education problem in terms of curriculum and what people are being taught. So I have one grandchild, 6-year-old. When he gets to high school, it may be just against the law for him to learn about certain parts of American history, which includes blacks. We want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about the good side of America. Well, what does that mean? That's not history. Everything was not good. And I think that that is the threat that we've got to fight, which is why we've got to fight with the courts and the streets, because they're literally changing the textbooks as we go.
Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. 5797. Happiness Donuts is saying long hot winter. And I see you had one up I was getting ready to go to. Yep. Tanaqua. Tanqua. I hope I'm saying your name right. Wembley is the last name. People can't eat, and they're talking about come visit the White House to see the First Lady's holiday decorations. The tours have resumed. Sister Wembley, you're right. I mean, they are literally telling people come tour the White House while people on food alliance. Federal workers are not getting paid. I wonder who's touring them around the White House if the federal workers can't get paid. Interesting. Let me go to Raj in Cleveland, Ohio. Raj, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hey, Reverend, how's it going?
Pretty good. How you doing?
All right, thanks. Yeah, you know, I hate to always keep sounding redundant about how there's a plot to take all the money or most of it or whatever they can out of the basically defund the government and the economy. I know I've been saying that, but this is a classic example that trying to go up on the prices of Medicaid and then cutting SNAP, and going up. See, they both work the same because they're taking money out of the pockets of the people either way it go. You know, whether they're raising the prices or just starving them out of the funds. Period of the program. See, there was a article written in the Wall Street Journal back in the mid '70s by a GOP strategist. It was called the Santa Claus theory, where the Republicans wanted to run up the debt, and then when they're in office, then when the Democrats get in office, they would have no choice but to cut. The easiest thing there was to cut, which are the social programs, because they knew that the social programs are for the people in mainstream society, which is, the general populace, which is on the opposite side of the now billionaires. They had this plan, way back then and even before then, but they wrote it in the policy. They actually came up with the strategy and put it in that kind of formation in the 70s, well, actually in the 80s, because there was another one where they passed this law, had the Republicans pass a law around the same time where the corporations could buy candidates. And then when Reagan came in, it came in a manifestation when he tripled the deficit for the first time. It went over $1 trillion. And by the time he got out of office, it was tripled. And that's why they were calling him the greatest president, because he at that time, and even up to now, some of them still say it, because he did their bidding as far as extracting all the wealth, as much wealth as you could out of the economy. And so Trump is tied to that too, because he's connected with people that goes back even to the 60s, including his donors, his first donors, the Koch brothers, and they were tied to the Nazis. And then there's a group, that organization called the Council of National Policy, and they formed in the 80s. And Trump hired people in his cabinet the first time he was in office from there, like the boss and some other individuals, and then now these judges, when he was running during that time too, evangelicals, they promised him if he put on the judges for him, they would reimburse him, and that happened. And I just found out earlier today, there's another guy that was in that same organization, Charlie Kirk. He was actually he was I guess he had won the William F. Buckley Jr. member of that organization, and all these people are tied in together, and Trump is with them, and they've been plotting to defund the economy even before then. I know I always call it sadist stuff, but I really want people to see how deep this stuff goes. It's actually deeper than that. It's more dots connected than that. But yes, Trump is definitely part of that that whole thing, and their agenda is to do it, destroy America, bring it down to its knees in the name of the Nazis and Confederates. And people ask why don't Trump care about people starving and all this? No, their plan was to bring America down. This actually goes back to the Nazis, but I won't hold you. I know I'm always saying the same thing, and I know it sounds redundant, but that's my big picture. That's why I just go right to it, because that's what I've been seeing, and
it is kind of, every time you kind of think you figured it out, they flip the script. And that's why, I try to stay on top of these things every day, because I believe that part of the design is to confuse the public. And in the maze, they go through and do what they want to get done.
Yeah, but I see it clearly, because I hear so many people say they can't figure it out, or why they ask questions. And if they look at it from that vantage point, they'll clearly see the direction it's going, no matter all the little details involved. Trump is going after the money. I've been telling people that he's going after the money.
I think that's transparent. I think he's not even hiding it well. I don't think he's trying to. But thank you for your call. Let me take a break. I'm coming back as XL Friday. I want to get to everybody, and I'm reading off the message pad. Let's take a break. Be right back. Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back.
God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. He's so good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. Sometimes He has set me free. I feel so good. God has smiled on me. Oh yeah. Good to me. One more time. God has smiled on me. Every day of my life, I feel it. He gives me strength and energy. Help me to sing. He's been good to me. Oh yeah.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton of Brooklyn, New York. I've been traveling around the country talking to the radio announcers, the church people, and the street people, telling them that God has smiled on me. God has smiled on you if you got breath in your body, if He woke you up this morning and started you on your way. But I want to tell you some stories of people that God smiled on. We know the story of Dr. Martin Luther King, how he started way back in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955, trying just to get dignity, trying to get respect. And he went all the way to the mountaintop. But he didn't forget about the brothers in the valley. He didn't forget about those trapped in the alley. And I hear Brother Martin King say,
God has smiled on me. He's been good to me. Let me tell you, God has smiled on me. It's been so good to me.
Then I see as Dr. King went on, another man stepped into the forefront by the name of John F. Kennedy, who rose up and said, let's not stand back. Let's not wait for a handout. Let's wait for a way out. He said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, don't us gravel and don't us moan, because God done smile on us.
Let me say it. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Let me say it. God
saw a man come out. They call him the King of Soul, James Brown. And James Brown said, Reverend, don't you worry. I started out as a shoe shine boy. I started out as a convict. I started out uneducated. But I learned to sing my song, and I sung it all over the world. I told him it was a man's world. I told him about the big payback. I told him Papa got a brand new bag. And all over the world, they can hear my voice. But Reverend, don't you frown. Don't you bow your head. Tell him what you told me, Brother Brown. God has smiled on me. He has set me free. Yeah. He has set me free. God smiled on me. You've been so good to me. Then I went home and I told my mother what Brown told me. And she said, son, even though we don't have much, we don't need relief. All we need is belief. And she said, he didn't tell you no lie, because the Lord will take care of you. God sits high, but he looks down low. And every time you get discouraged, every time you're burning down, all you have to do is think of the things that God made a way for you and look toward the heavens. Lift your eyes to the hills and say, God, 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 don't smile on me. Now then, the God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God has smiled on me. That has been so good to me. Yes, he has. I said, God smiled on me. He has set me free. And I know all over the country, smile on me. We need jobs. We need a way to make it. We need help. We need jobs. We need a way to make some money to feed our families and raise our bread. We need a way to survive, so we don't need crime as a survival kit. We just need a little bit. But don't give the hope up. Don't lose the faith, because God will smile on you. God will give you the strength. God will make a way for you. Adam Great Power said, keep the faith. Keep the faith, baby. I hear Robert Kennedy saying that it's not the dream of, but it's the dream that'll live on forever. Just know that God will smile on you. Dr. King had a dream. Dr. King said, I went to the mountaintop, but I didn't stop there. I looked over and saw the promised land. I hear Brother Malcolm saying, don't sit on the stoop. Stand up and be a man. Respect yourself. Be somebody. Then I hear the brothers in the Hispanic community say, I'm going to stand up and be a man. I'm going to do the best I can. I had a reaper say, I don't care what time you come home, but just give me some respect when you get there. Lord, now God has smiled on me. He has set me free. God smiled on me. You've been so good to me. Sit down. And as we move on in history, let us remember that if we look to God, God has the answer to all of our problems. God is still the same God he was years ago, and we can still make it. We can still hold on like Frederick Douglass did. We can still keep him on like Martin Luther King did. We can still ride on the way everyone that made it did. They didn't have much, but they had a whole lot of faith. They didn't have money, but they had a lot of determination. We know that God will look out for his children, that God will make a way out of no way. If you just keep the faith and refuse to lose, and God will make a way, because God's children don't have color. God's children just have will. And I can still hear somewhere in my mind James Brown say, God has smiled on me.
Keeping it real.
Reverend Al Sharpton, and I'm reading on our message board. Tricia says to OG Kelly, if more people stayed committed in their relationship, they would have to worry about what other people are doing. And OG Kelly writes back, Tricia, you're definitely right about that. I'll be watching these conversations back and forth because they're important. Let's go to Lightning Rod in Detroit. Lightning Rod, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton. I don't hear Rod. Let me go to Jay in Pennsylvania. Jay, you're keeping it real on Exhale Friday with Reverend Al Sharpton.
How you doing this Good Friday? How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
All right. So I want to ask you a quick question. Me and you talked a couple of times before in the past, right? And the concern I have is, even though some of the Democrats just won this election cycle, the messaging still is horrible, and all the money they get from donors and donations, like they're not flooding. You don't have to be the airwaves. They can have pamphlets, mailings. They can have a picture of Trump in his ballroom while people in line eating. I mean, trying to eat, starving, like jobs being cut. They don't use their messages, and even how some of these red counties are turning purple. They need to finish the job. It's like the Republicans are the Harlem Globetrotters, and the Democrats are the Washington Generals. Like they never can get it. The gimmick. Republicans are very good at catchphrases and gimmicks, and the Democrats, to me, they want to go over people's heads. They're too, they're just too much over people's heads. Too political, too scientific. They're not reaching more. Kind of like a lot of these areas down south and these urban centers. These people don't understand some of the language there. You need to go to where the people are. Say like some of these concert venues. Stand outside some of these restaurants and these churches and hand out pamphlets. Go to where some of these Trump supporters shoppers are, these grocery stores. Have a picture of a hospital and say, they're about to close your hospital down if you don't vote for this person right here. Let them, even though some of them won't listen, if you take 5 of them and 2 of them listen, you add that up, you can flip some of these counties. And I think that we have to be more diligent on getting these messages across and stop trying to be either too friendly and too nice and be more hardcore. Like, you have to be hardcore. That's all they know is hardcore. Some of these Republicans, they will eat their own hands just to prove a point.
Yeah.
They don't want anybody other than them to get something. Some of them, they will die that way. Like, they'll die just to hold up, their way of thinking. So I think you have a lot of other people's ear in politics. I think you need to really get these coalitions with the black, brown, the whites in these poorer areas. Like, you have to get them on the same page. But it's still.
No, I like that. I like that because, thank you for your call. I like that because that's exactly what needs to happen. I think that you remind me of what I say so often when I talk to a lot of the political leadership groups, have me at some of their function, and that is that a good organizer or a good missionary or preacher or activist talks to the audience, not talk above the audience. I remember when we went to, when I was in junior high school and had just, it's secondary school they call it now, and I had just joined the movement. We invited one of the ministers to the school I was at to speak around the whole idea of Dr. King being killed. 68, I was in the grade getting ready to go to high school. And the guy said, we're glad the young man Sharpton's here and he's joined the movement, and we are ministers that believe that we are crippled with a sick sociology emanating from a flawed theology that is the results of a distorted anthropology. You're talking to 6th and 7th graders. Who are you impressing? I felt all glad to have them there, but that was ridiculous. You're talking to 5th and 6th graders. Now, I'm not saying the people that you're referring to are 6th graders, but if you are talking to people that you know clearly they do not understand what you're talking about. One, you're talking to yourself. Two, you're hung up on trying to impress, not try to inform. And then you wonder why people are not voting with you. They don't know what you're talking about. And I think you raise a very good question. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. And we're hearing now that according to what news is broke, Senator Chuck Schumer, who is the minority leader of the Senate, head of the Democrats, said extend health care tax credits for a year, and Dems will vote to reopen the government. Give us a year of health care, and we'll reopen the government. That's very interesting. I won't even give my view yet. What do you think? If they keep things for a year, the tax credits for a year on health care, then the Dems will agree to open the government. What do you think about that? Is that a fair position, or is that giving in too much? 1-877-532-5797. O.G. Kelly saying on the message board, Schumer is saying extend health care tax credit for 1 year, and the Democrats will vote to reopen the government. And that's just what I said. Interesting. Forensic accountant saying make them permanent, like the tax cuts for the wealthy. I don't know if tax cuts are permanent, though, because when Biden came in, we could change them. But I heard your point. Tanya Stovall is saying, is that true, O.G. Kelly? Did they come to an agreement? No, they're not at an agreement. They're making a proposal. This is what Schumer is saying to them. Give us the health care for a year. Tax credits where it is, and we'll reopen the government. Now, is Schumer banking on winning the House? Bruce Turner, that's a good question. Schumer is banking on winning the House and maybe the Senate. So maybe Bruce Turner is right. Schumer's saying by a year, things stay the same without health care, and that'll motivate people to vote to keep it that way. All right. Tricia said, yeah, they made it permanent with the bill. Okay. Cedric Cooper says an inch is too much time involved, and Trump will throw a monkey wrench in the deal. I'm interested. I'm very interested in seeing whether the Republicans even take this. There's one or two things that comes to mind. One is Schumer banking on, as one said, that in a year they will have the majority. The other is he throwing something out there to call their bluff to see if they will say, no, we won't even give you a year. I'm interested in seeing what Thune and Johnson come back with. Evangelist Ramsey says, good afternoon, Reverend Sharpton and Nan viewers. No matter what God said, the righteous forsaken and their seed begging for bread, and I trust and believe God, period. That's Evangelist Ramsey, one of our great activists. I just don't know. I've not talked to I talked to Schumer last night. This was not on the table then. I'm wondering if he's throwing out something to show they won't take anything, or if he's throwing it out there to say in a year's time we'll be in charge, so if we can extend it a year, then we can make it more permanent after we get in. Interesting. Happiness Donut says, was Schumer not with us on this past Tuesday? We have the power. All right. Bertha in Cleveland, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go to Bertha.
Hello, Reverend. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. You know, Reverend, I was calling in regards to this speaker. He'll never come up to Nancy Pelosi whatsoever. He is weak. Something needs to be done about him because he's not serving the people. He's serving one man. And this does not make sense for this whole situation be shut down because he refuses to go back and reopen it, and constantly stating that they should open it up as soon as the Democrats need to let them know that, let everybody know and constantly say that we will open up as soon as the Republicans decide to do the right thing, because what they're doing is wrong. He needs to be fired. What can be done with this? If something needs to be, I don't know if you can impeach the speaker, but he needs to go.
You're talking about Mike Johnson.
Not,
well, Mike Johnson is the speaker because the Republicans had the majority of the House, and that's who they voted to be speaker. If the Democrats retake the House of Representatives next year, Hakeem Jeffries will most likely be elected speaker because the Democrats have said that. So you can't impeach him. The Republicans elected him as their speaker. They have the majority right now.
And I guess we can't fire him either. But right now we're in a state of it's terrible because the checks should be withheld from Congress. The checks should be withheld because if they're going to shut everybody else down, they should not receive a down payment on a stick of bubble gum.
I agree.
Have a good day, Reverend.
Totally agree with you on that. You hit it right in the head, Bertha. Cedric Cooper on our message board says the Speaker of the House is only the mouthpiece. Trump is really the president, and the Speaker of the House, that's why he doesn't do what he should. Trump is both. Cedric, I agree with you. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. The Mayor Rodney Jones says a famous line from my Queensbridge brother Nas said, "You're shook, made you look." Wow. That was appropriate. That was right on time, Mr. Mayor. Be right back. I had a thought this morning that I wanted to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors. But there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talent in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me for the other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones, and too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their own, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, It's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I help formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor to you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughter started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others. The way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself. Do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited, and you should be excited too. Turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you. And if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live. 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9, and we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized.
baby. Oh, I got that feeling, y'all. Can you put your hands together? I got that feeling. Oh, won't you say, baby, baby, I got that. Ah! Baby, ow! Feeling, baby. Ow, hey, hey, baby, 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 baby. Come on, sing it out. Baby, baby, come on. Baby, baby, baby. Can't hear you. Hey, hey. I got that. Thank you so much. My name is True Osborne. Humbled and honored.
All right.
Tony Wafer, Los Angeles chapter, NASDAQ Network. He just came in here to New York a couple days ago, had to stop by the House of Justice, and I sure enough found some justice. So I know I can leave here feeling like I got peace.
What does that mean? That's not history. Everything was not good. And I think that that is the threat that we've got to fight, which is why we've got to fight in the courts and the streets, because they're literally changing the textbooks as we go. As they do that, they change the opportunities, because then the fight against affirmative action is not having access to these institutions.
Real, keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. This Exhale Friday, 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, and we are back, and we are joined as we are every Friday for the last hour of the show by the senior pastor of the historic King Solomon Baptist Church of Detroit, Michigan, and head of a national expansion and Midwest chair and Michigan State chair of National Action Network, the Reverend Charles Williams II. How you doing, Reverend?
All is well, and it's certainly always good to be with you, Rev. I'm going to tell you, we've got a lot of congratulations to give out for those who were able to cross the line. We sent a resounding message, I believe, to the nation that we are certainly concerned about the politics of the day and those who are in charge, those who are, we saw this Democrat crossed the line in Virginia. Of course, we saw over 2 million come out in New York. And then, of course, almost 80,000 votes in Detroit sent a resounding message that we were ready for our first woman mayor in the city of Detroit. And that is Mary Sheffield, daughter of Horace Sheffield, former and current activist with National Action Network. And we certainly appreciate him and his work. That message was clear, but the work really begins now. And what I hope people don't do is become comfortable.
There's some noise in the background that's kind of messing with your sound.
Yeah, we really don't want them to be comfortable. Is this better?
Yeah, now here it's something like something scratching or something.
Oh.
All right, that's better. I don't hear nothing now.
Yeah, I'm gonna move around a little too.
All right, go ahead.
So yeah, I mean, I think what we have seen is what we don't want people to do is to get comfortable with where we are. We don't want folks to get comfortable with the election that we seen happen just 2 days ago or 3 days ago, and get prepared to be a part of the work that needs to happen next year in November. Got to take the House back, got to take the Senate back, got to make sure that the message we sent is not a fake message, is not a quick draw, but not a moment, but it's a movement, and we're prepared to change that. I want folks to join us. If you prepared to keep that movement going, not just a movement that would suggest we can get our local folks in place, but a movement that suggests we prepared to make some national changes in this country. Go to nationalactionnetwork.net, join us, and let's keep this momentum going in the right direction, and get folks in office who going to protect us in the way that we deserve to be protected with our public services.
No doubt about it. Let's go to Monisha in North Carolina. Monisha.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hey, how you doing today, Reverend?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. I was calling to talk about what Chuck Schumer did. I know that he is trying to help the government open back up, but this is up to these Republicans. I understand that he wants the government open back up, which I think is a good thing. I mean, I think it's good, but at the same time, we can't fold and we can't bend to the Republicans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that we gotta fight for what we want. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a year, that's cool and everything, but the question is, will it go anywhere? That's the question.
Well, so
because the Republicans
I think the question is, again, I talked to Schumer last night. He didn't bring this up. I think this just happened. But the question I raise is it strategic, where he's throwing it out there, and if Republicans say no, then people will say they won't even give them a year in health care, or are they willing to make the deal? And I think that one of our message board writers is right. It's going to be Trump that calls the answer. It's not going to be just Mike Johnson and Thune. I mean, it'll go through them. But I don't know if Chuck Schumer's calling their bluff or if they're trying to get by the midterms. I have no idea. But it is an interesting occurrence late on a Friday. So I will see where it goes. But I think you raised the right questions and the right concerns, Monisha.
Yes, and I think that we also have to, be skeptical, because we know these Republicans, they are really, really just not doing what they're supposed to be doing for their own constituents. Even their own constituents are suffering due to the shutdown, due to the SNAP benefits not being renewed by a president, a 34 convicted felon. So I think that we just have to keep our head above water at this point. Thank you for taking my call, Rep.
All right, thank you for your call. And, Rep. Williams, again, I think as we look at this, it is very, very interesting to me that if the Republicans don't even take this deal, what would the fallout be? I just, for the life of me, don't understand how they do not see that in the middle of a government shutdown, and I'm not saying this deal is good or bad. I'm not addressing this deal at all. I'm saying aside from this, before this came up, is that we are looking at a government shutdown, federal workers not paid in 3 weeks, some having to go to food banks. We're seeing SNAP canceled. The administration today said they're going to appeal a federal judge saying that they had to pay all of the SNAP benefits now. They weren't going to appeal it. They're fighting in court for the right to keep the money from going to SNAP. And Trump is sitting up having a Great Gatsby themed party in Mar-a-Lago while people are on food bank lines and is building a $300 million ballroom. I mean, I don't know how insensitive you can get.
I mean, it's something that you just wouldn't even really expect that you would see. I mean, sometimes I was talking to somebody earlier this week. I said sometimes all of this stuff doesn't even seem real. You talk about building a ballroom and having a great Gatsby party and wearing hats saying I was right all the time, and appealing whether you should actually pay people or whether you should actually take care of people who are hungry. Look, I not only lead a civil rights organization in Michigan, I also pastor a church, and I can tell you one thing: the knocks on the door are up in regards to folks saying, "Hey, I need help." Now they're resilient, and one thing I can appreciate is that many people, even at the bottom, even who might be in the struggle, they ain't confused about whose fault this is. We just gotta make sure we keep that pressure on, stay focused, because the ship is sinking. They know it's sinking, and the only thing that can stop us at this point is us.
And that's that's wisdom right there, because if we don't get in our way, which so many times of us do, so many times we do, stay out of our way and let's go. I like one person wrote on the message board, I don't see it now, that are we listening only to Representative Jeffries? I'd be very interested in knowing what Hakeem Jeffries says about this. And Leslie Jennings said, I almost forgot Malcolm. She's talking about Malcolm, who is the vice chair now of the Democratic Party. I had him on the Politics Nation a couple of weeks ago. Says Malcolm is new to this assignment level, so we're going to see what he says. I think it's going to be very interesting. I think she's talking about Malcolm Kenyatta, and I was astounded. Democracy.fund had said I was astounded when Malcolm Kenyatta called me just after I spoke to Sharpton Monday. I now have his personal phone number. I'm not astounded. Malcolm Kenyatta is doing what all Democrats should do. Disco, they ought to be talking to people, Disco Bryant, on the ground. That's what you do. Right. You can't talk for people you don't talk to. And you can't
hide from them.
That's right. And you can't lead people you don't even like. And most of these people out there want to lead folk. They don't like folk. They don't talk to them. So they can't, in my opinion, wisely speak for them. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Williams. Be right back.
Tony Wafer, Los Angeles chapter, NASDAQ Network. She just came in here to New York a couple days ago, had to stop by the House of Justice, and I sure enough found some justice, so I know I can leave here feeling like I got peace.
Washington. 62 years later, the dream is not dead. cases have reversed and tried to turn it into a nightmare. We come to Wall Street rather than Washington this year to let them know you can try to turn back the clock, but you can't turn back time. We gonna keep the dream alive on Wall Street.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you're very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to know.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say, you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age
He was about 12. Wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend. Earl the Pearl, Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, the Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them. Now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
No justice, no justice, no justice. What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom. Let my people go, go. We never shine, never shade. Give me a papa God, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we gathered through the years. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. Wade in the water, we did wade in the water, children.
Oh, do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.5 FM in New York. We're going to expand. Every Saturday morning, we're live on WBLS 107.5 from 10 a.m. to 11. You'll hear the message. You'll feel the energy. You'll be involved. You won't be sitting around talking about, oh my God, look at what's happening. You'll be involved in dealing with what's happening. I'm excited, and you should be excited too. Turn on WBLS 10 a.m. every Saturday morning. I have a message for you, and if you want to, you can come to the House of Justice and be there live, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. We kick off at 9, and we don't stop until we deal with getting our people energized.
Sir, we're not live. We're not live.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. Reverend Charles Williams is with us. Let's go right to the phone. Let's go to labor extraordinaire organizer Percy Johnson. Percy.
Hello, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Hello? Okay, you can hear me. Thanks for taking my call. For me, the Democrats need to lead the conversation with saying that one thing for sure, if they had the trifecta and had the majority, then we wouldn't be shut down right now. And I know that's a fact. You feel that's a fact? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you very well. Go ahead.
Yeah, do you feel that if the Democrats had the majority in the House and the Senate, that we wouldn't be going through this right now?
Clearly, I think if they had the House and the Senate and the White House, we wouldn't be going through a shutdown, and would not be going toward them allowing the Affordable Care Act to expire without renewal. And the reason we know that is because that's how they've operated every other time. I mean, we don't even have to guess about that person. Just go by the track record.
Exactly. They need to bring that up more. You know, they need to bring that up more, that we would not be going through this if we had the power. So the Republicans, if they want to, they can open it up too with the power that they got, because they do have the power to. They got the majority enough to keep the government open. They don't need the Democrats to open it up. I mean, they don't need their votes. They don't need their votes.
They could kill what Trump has said is kill the filibuster, which they have the votes to kill the filibuster, and then open it up. And they won't do that. So they want it both ways. And that's why I'm saying, and I'll certainly be checking before I go to on the air, you know, on Politics Nation. I'm going on there in a half hour on Deadline. But I want to know if what Schumer's doing is a strategy to show how they don't want to do nothing, or if that's really what they're doing. But I clearly think that they're exposing how these people are insensitive. I mean, you got people that are in dire need of affordable care. We're not talking about a luxury here.
I mean, not only that, in dire need of keeping the health care that they got, but not only that, in dire need of going back to work and working, you know?
Dire need of going back to working. Dire need of going back to working at Reverend Williams. Dire need of you're coming up on the holiday season. And you know Rachel Nordlinger that handles communications for National Action Network. She was stuck 6 hours at Washington, D.C. airport yesterday because planes kept getting canceled, couldn't get back to New York because of the people that are working in these towers in terms of the airport, they are not working. And many of them taking off, many of them taking vacation days because they're not getting paid. I mean, they're going to sink the economy during this whole holiday season just being sycophants for Donald Trump.
And it's like they can't handle having the majority power. You know, they're proving that they cannot handle being in control and running the country and keeping it open. And it's on them. It's not on this nonsense that they keep saying that they need the Democrat votes. They do not need the Democrat votes to put the people back to work and to open up the government and to sit down and negotiate for them to have what they need to make it better for our people in our country. But they deliberately are doing this. And the Democrats need to just point. They need to say, hey, let's flip the script. If we were in the position that that the Republicans are in right now, we would not be going through what we're going through. It's on them.
Well, I think you're right. I think that the Democrats need to tighten up their messaging, but I also think we need to deal with the reality. And the reality is that these people could do this. They will not do it. And people need to understand it. And I think in large part, they showed they do understand it by how they voted on Tuesday night. I mean, if you just roll back to Monday, experts were saying, well, Democrats may do all right, but I think, they can't win all four of the big ones. The big ones being the New York race, the Virginia race, the New Jersey race, and Prop 50 in California. Well, they won them all, and they won them in big numbers. And that showed the people were clear on who was at fault here in the state of where we are. But the Democrats got to follow it up, show some backbone, and do some messaging. You cannot expect people to understand what you have not explained to them.
They do not. That's another, they keep trying to say, it's all about the money and all that. Yeah, that's true. But it's also about the way that they have put this ICE in play and what they doing to people, and people are being put handcuffed and being abused by the ICE operation that this party has put together.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Thank you for your call. Always good to hear from you, Brother Percy. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. More Exhale. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there and act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special place in my heart and on my shelf because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president, but we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're gonna have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago, here in Los Angeles, we marched. And then many years later, with George Floyd and others, we're still marching. And I'm gonna keep marching, I'm gonna keep agitating, and I'm gonna keep going. Until we don't have to do it anymore. Eddie, known you a long time, Mariah, Chris and your kids. And I promise you this, the only thing that I really live for is I get up with this dream that every bigot, every racist, everyone in this country that hates will say, damn, he's up again.
It's been a long time coming, but I'm
1968, Dr. Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of Nash Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
I have a dream today.
They can't kill the dreamer.
almost an unhealthy habit, how much I'm listening to Keep It Real, because it is the realest thing on the air anywhere, whether it be online or whether it be on the radio or wherever it's coming into you from, because there's no one of Rev's importance and caliber who is as dominant a media figure as he is, who allows people to speak at length, and who he treats with equal respect and admiration with every call, whether he agrees with you or not. And I'm not gonna throw shade at anybody, but there are a lot of people with big platforms like the Rev has who are afraid to talk to the people and who are afraid that the people will keep it real with them. And he never shies away from anything any of us want to talk to him about. And he doesn't shut you up. It's not a soundbite, it's a conversation. So I would like people in media to learn from this man who is carrying MLK's torch. Don't be afraid of people. Listen to them, respect them, and stand in God and stand in truth. Thank you, Nan. Thank you, Rev. Thank you, everybody who puts this together and sends it out across the world, because we need much more of it. Bless you.
Hey, what's up? They got, they're doing, thank you. They're doing, What's on Your Mind? Yeah. All right, then, you got a birthday this week. I got to talk about that.
Oh, no.
Happy birthday this weekend. And Carrie White's birthday, right?
Corey's birthday's today.
Yeah, and I got, tell, Reverend Bird, be ready, Daniel, 5th chapter, I want him to read. And, I'm ready. Got a message from today, so we'll be on the air in what? Half hour.
Half hour.
You should tune in to the WBLS 107.5 FM and National Impact and www.nationalnetwork.net. All right, I'm ready. Make sure you operate on time, or I'll tell them how old you are. No justice! No justice! No justice! What do we want? What do we want?
We are the sons and the daughters. We gotta stand up and make it loud. Just like our God told the Pharaoh, let my people go, go. We are a new generation from the ones who have come before. He's calling us into freedom. Let my people go, go. We're gonna shine and shade. Give me a papa glory, make the heavens. If you don't say you know what trouble, let my people go, go. The blood, sweat, and the tears that we got.
Oh, do I seem excited? I am excited because this Saturday, the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally starts live on WBLS 107.
Some mayors. The weekend's going to be hot and heavy. Make sure you watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. You really need to watch it tomorrow with all of these developments. And who knows what's going to happen between now and then. And we need to be mobilized. We need to be energized. We need to be on top of things. That's why I ask everybody in the Connecticut, New Jersey, and the New York area to meet me or beat me to the Saturday Action Rally at the House of Justice in Harlem, 45th Street and Lenox Avenue. I'll be there 9 to 11 in the morning. I'll be there waiting and joining you. Make sure you are there and come early as the mayor does. Mayor Rodney Jones of Queensbridge houses there every Saturday. He gets in there early so he can get a seat up front. Also, you that are not in the New York area, you can watch it live on Impact Television. Reverend Williams, what's going on at Detroit National Action Network rally in the morning?
Looking forward to an action-packed Saturday action rally. Look, tomorrow, I want you to join us. Abdul Sayed, who's running for United States Senate in Michigan, will be at the National Action Network Saturday Action Rally in Detroit tomorrow. He'll be there for us tomorrow, laying out his agenda. Now, you know, he's pretty close with Mandami, and Mandami put a coalition together that surpassed those who had fears of his Islamic background. Abdul Sayed believes he can do the same thing. We want to ask him some questions. We want folks to get the opportunity to meet him and to ask questions. So join us tomorrow, 10 a.m., historic King Solomon Baptist Church, 6100 14th Street. And let's get ready to keep this momentum going and keep getting these votes out and keep our folks educated.
All right, let's go to the incomparable president of the Greater Cleveland, Ohio chapter of National Action Network, Dr. Marcia McCoy. Dr. McCoy, you're keeping it real with Sharpton and Williams.
Yes, sir. I'm so proud, Reverend Dr. Professor Al Sharpton. Thank God for you again and again for your vision of National Action Network, over 100 chapters, plus you got one out of the country. Thank you for staying the course, being the chosen vessel, and having the wisdom and anointed voice needed for the least lost and left out. To our Midwest region, Director Reverend Dr. Charles Williams, where the Midwest is the best. I got a great announcement. Greater Cleveland chapter of National Action Network is happy to announce that 2 of our NAN members are now judges. Woo!
Wow, that's great. Wow.
Oh, my God. Our National Action Network, Cheryl Wiltshire, she was elected as the housing court judge against an incumbent judge.
Wow.
We were told it would never happen. No way, Jose. Forget it. But prayer changed things. She was not leading in the polls. But God answered. We stayed the course, and she is judge-elect. Woo! Cheryl Wiltshire. Our other member, Kalila Lawson, is a newly elected, oh my God, Cleveland Municipal Court judge.
Wow.
We're continuing our precinct.
Wow.
We're continuing our precinct training. Call us 216-374-0913 to be a precinct member. It's mule time. I'm just kicking it. Come on, Bishop.
Dr. Al Sharpton.
Yes, sir, Bishop.
Dr. Charles Williams.
Yes, sir.
Oh, my mule, my brother.
I got you, Reverend.
My brothers and my sisters, on October 31st, with the government shutdown and SNAP benefits about to be disrupted, leaving about 42 million Americans without money they were counting on to eat, convicted felon Donald Trump was hosting a great Gatsby-themed Halloween party at Mar-a-Lago. They were dancing with fabulous Halloween costumes, whining and dining with their millionaire and billionaire Epstein friends. Nero was fiddling while Rome was burning. Convicted felon President Donald Trump was partying, frolicking, while families were about to starve to death. Since then, this narcissistic, selfish psychopath has done nothing to ease the pain and sufferings of millions of people are on the verge of losing their health care and outright survival. In America today, there are signs of a stock market bubble. Food pantries are already strained. Inequality is rampant. The top 10% of households now make nearly half of all the spending, the highest level since the late 1980s. Many large companies are not hiring. Unemployment for African Americans is up nearly 7.5%. More Americans are falling behind in their car notes and house payments, and health insurance rates are expected to increase for millions of Americans. Major reason that we have a government shutdown in the first place. But the shutdown accurately reflects the administration's priority. The big, beautiful, ugly bill, which gives tax cuts to the rich and the wealthy, cuts to Medicaid, cutting out food stamps, canceling health care to millions, ruling like a king or a dictator. He demolishes the East Wing and paves over the Rose Garden, all with no congressional approval. This evil man defies court orders and cuts food subsidies to starving peoples around the world. Those who are comfortable with his decimation of diversity, equity, and inclusion have now discovered that he doesn't give a continental scintilla about anyone except his millionaire and billionaire friends and donors. When will we all wake up to this disaster of this white supremacist, wannabe dictator, racist bigot who is intent on destroying America? I pray very soon. For all of those unwoke folk, it is egregiously painful to me to behold another dismal voter turnout in African American community. We who need the tenets of government and democracy more than any other ethnic group seem to have abandoned hope that voting is unimportant and insignificant. What a tragedy. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. literally took a bullet for the privilege and opportunity to exercise that sacred task. Now it appears that we have lost all hope of the power to lift ourselves up by our own bootstraps. When did we not have the right to vote? When we did not have it, we girded up our loins and fought tooth and nail for the privilege to do so. Why in the name of Little Green Apple we do not use this powerful tool to uplift and improve our place in the American dream? Vote, my brothers, vote, my brother, vote, my brothers and my sisters. Thank you, Doctor.
Ditto.
All right. Well, thank you, Bishop. Let me see if I can get Sahil in New York before we have to go. Is Sahil? Hello?
This is Lightning Rod from Detroit.
Okay.
Also known as Super Rafide. I bet you didn't know that, did you? Okay, Reverend. This is a Showtime Friday. I wanted to talk Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, P. Diddy, R. Kelly right quick. Starting with Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick. Hey, once he makes that comeback, Rev, his movie is going to be able to be compared to your movie, man. It's one of the greatest activist politician movies of all time. If Kwame Kilpatrick makes his comeback, it is a movie in the making, brother, and it can compete with your movie. Your movie is going to be spectacular, Reverend Al. Now, are you there?
I'm listening.
Okay, excellent. What up, though? Reverend Williams, man, don't act like you don't know nobody, bro. So, anyway, is he there?
All right.
Okay. P. Diddy and R. Kelly.
Yes, sir.
P. Diddy and R. Kelly. Now, they did wrong, but starting with R. Kelly, it's just way too much time. My thing is this. If he needs to, do you see the Supreme Court giving him a chance, looking at our history of Elvis Presley, what he did, where he got with Priscilla, she was 14, and then they got married when she was 19, but he was with her. She did a movie about it. R. Kelly, even though, he was wrong, but we have states right here, right now, they say you can let your teenage daughter get married to a grown person with the permission of your parents. Laws right now, which is ridiculous. So given that, and them on the book at R. Kelly, and Elvis Presley got away with it, and R. Kelly is in that hierarchy, Reverend Al, do you see him getting a chance? Do you see the Supreme Court somehow, some way giving him.
What would be the case? What would be the case before the Supreme Court if the argument is that Elvis Presley went with Priscilla Presley since she was a teenager and then married her? Do we have a case that R. Kelly went with these girls and married them? I don't think it's the same case, and you can't present unlike things that are not the same to a Supreme Court. He didn't marry these girls, and I think that you can't draw that same connection. But I hear the music. I got to go.
Okay,
we will talk Monday. Thank you for your call. Let me thank Reverend Charles Williams. Let me thank all of you that called in.
Thank you.
Listened in, you that called in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyhow. Stay alert. News is happening every minute. Make sure you watch Politics Nation in the morning and watch the rally in the morning. No telling where this is going, but we got to go with it and handle it. And remember, all weekend long, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Whatever you do, it's real. I'll talk to you on Monday.
Keeping it real.